Okay, so in today's session we are going to be going through creating 3D text with inside After Effects and using lights inside After Effects. So we've already animated cameras, and so we're going to have animated camera in here, but this is what we're going to be creating, just some 3D text with some lights and shadows and all that. Now, from my render, what you will be able to notice is the edges of the shadows and the 3D text are quite fuzzy. And this is something to do with anti-aliasing, which is a thing I'll go into in greater detail a separate time, but I'll show you with inside After Effects how to actually modify that. Now, first of all, before we do, this is what we're working with, and I just want to say my desktop computer is currently getting fixed. There's a problem with the motherboard, so I'm doing this all on a laptop which wasn't built for After Effects. It was just built for word processing and spreadsheet stuff, so my computer will be quite laggy. May have to pause a few times and rejoin you, but yes, so basically we've got our light here. If we hit U, we can see there's keyframes for position and point of interest, like on the camera exercise we did before. You know that there's a rotation one, and that's if we look from above. So if we go to top view, again you can see that's taking a while because we're using the ray traced 3D renderer, but it's alright. We'll just let that load in. We're going to look at the view from above so that we can see exactly what's going on. I'm going to turn this ray trace renderer off for now, so it just loads a lot faster because I just want to see the motion paths. So what we've got is our camera, which is this one. We can see we've got our camera animated like so, like we did in the other one, and also our light we've got animated like so. Okay, so that's the only keyframes we've got in here. And then we've got, you can see we've built a 3D room. So we've got a floor, and I should rename this back wall, and we've got a side wall as well. Okay, so we've built a 3D room like so, and then we've got our 3D text, which I'll go through how to make, and a light and a camera. So it's fairly simple. So let's go to composition, new composition, and HDTV 1080-25. That's what I want. I want about 7 seconds, and this is the important bit. You want to go to 3D renderer and you want to pick ray traced 3D. Okay, now when it comes to because all this does is it enables you to, as it says here, enables extrusion of text and shapes. This option is only recommended for configurations with an appropriate NVIDIA graphics card. This laptop's just got a very, very standard one. It's Intel graphics card or something. But in the options, you don't need to put this up right now, but when you render, if you remember earlier I showed you those fuzzy edges, this is your ray tracing quality, okay? And you will, when you render, you'll want to put that not all the way up to 64, but let's say, I think default was 3. I would probably looking at that render, I'd probably end up saying, okay, let's go to 6, and let's do a render, see how 6 works. But that's how you solve that. And you can also have a look at, try different filters in here, but I'm just gonna stick with 2 for now. I'm just gonna go down to 2. Hopefully it'll and let me work a bit faster. I'll click in here and rename it 3D text, and I'll go OK. So now we've got a new composition. Let's just fit that. We've got a new composition, and yeah, so we need to first of all create some text. So let's go 3D text, and I want to change the font to something that's quite thin so you can see that 3D-ness a bit more. So something like, I think Gill Sans, yeah, something like that. Let's just go with this, and there we go, we've got that. So we want to come down into the drop down by here, and let's go into my composition settings, because I should Here we go. Make sure it's make sure you click the 3D, and you can already tell that mine is starting to take a while. So what you want to do is come into geometry options, and you want to go to bevel style. Just, have a play around. Go with angular first maybe, and you've got something called bevel depth, and this will just make the depth of your 3D text bigger, so you can take that up as you so wish. No, that's the sort of curvature. Then you've got extrusion depth, so you can make that text more 3D. So the reason mine's looking like this at the moment is because I'm actually in top view, not active camera. So let's go back to active camera, and my bevel depth I'm going to make about 4. This is those sort of rounded edges. Let's make even 3, and I'm just going to set my extrusion depth to, just put it to 100 because it was on 91. Whole bevel depth, you can take this down and it'll make it a little bit thinner. So let's have a look. The way to have a look at this being 3D is if we go to rotation, and let's just spin it round like so. You'll be able to see, there we go, around here. You'll be able to see that there is some 3D-ness to this. Now at the moment, because we haven't got a light in here, it just looks like a sort of white blur, but you can see that there is some depth to this, okay? So we're going to put this rotation back to 0 for now. We know that it's 3D, it's just white pixels at the moment, so it doesn't look great, and we'll put a light in later to make that look better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go layer, new, solid, and call this floor, and let's give it a blue shape like that, maybe a bit brighter, something like that. Okay, and click OK. Now we want this to be 3D, and let's just let that load in, and let's go to rotation, and here we are. Let's go around X, and we're going to set this to 90, so it's completely flat, and then let's just put this just below that text layer. Okay, and we'll make this, let's get the position of both actually, and drag both of them. Let's drag this one down first then, and then drag the text down on its own. So we're just lining it up a little bit nicer. Okay, we don't want that to we don't want it to intersect too much or at all. So there we go. Now what I may do is get this floor and scale it up. No, that's the text. Let's get this floor and hit S and scale it up like so. And I may just rotate it. No, wrong one. Rotate it around Z like that, and then push it back. So the corner of the room will kind of be in the background, but there, coming up. Let's have a look at this from the top view. Actually, I'm going to turn this down to a quarter resolution so it goes a bit faster. So let's have a look from the top, and it'll take a second to load in. Right, so you can see what we'll need to do is put a wall by here and a wall by here. So I'm going to go to my 2 views, horizontal. Let's change this one to active camera, make it fit, and let's then create a layer, new, solid, and let's call it back wall, and let's make it a 3D layer. We'll want to rotate it around first a bit. Nope, wrong way, around the the Y axis like so. Okay, something like that, and now we can move this back to here. May just want to line it up just a touch better. So I'll bring this 129 up to about 132. No, other way. Let's change it to 127. Just going to be picky. 128. There we go. Lined up now. And we're just going to put it on there, and let's hit S and scale it up. Okay, and we want it to go all the way kind of to that corner, would be nice. Scale it, scale it, scale it, scale it, and there it goes to that corner. So let's see what the scale is of this one. If we set it to 301, so it's the same, and then that should be lining up. And we may just want to drag it back just a touch. There you go. Right. So next one we want to do is create another layer, new, solid, side, wall. Okay. Make it 3D. Hit R for rotation. Put it something like that. Drag it back to here. And rotation, I think 38, if I look 38. Yeah, I think that's it. And drag it back a touch. Let's go to my scale. And let's scale it up until it meets that corner. Like so. And let's just bring it up a touch. Okay, so we have made our 3D room now, and at the moment it just looks literally like a blue background. It doesn't look very impressive, and that's fine. We're going to minimize these now, and the next thing we're going to do is create a light. Okay, so let's drag back. Let's go layer, new, and then light. Now you've got different ones to choose from. Different types. You've got parallel light, which is, if you've used Maya, it's like a directional light. You've got point light, an ambient light, and a spotlight. I'm going to go with spot, just in this instance, and I'm going to make my light sort of bright or blue light, like so. We can modify this if we want to. I'm going to turn on, make sure you turn on cast shadows, because we want the light to cast shadows. And I'm going to go click OK. Alright, and now it's going to take a while to sort of render, and already you can see that is looking a hell of a lot better. So what we can do is we can drag it down, something like that, and you can see at the moment it's not casting any shadows, but that's fine. What we want to do is roll down these transform options. So we've got something called point of interest, where we can like do this with the light and sort of, it's the angle really, and then we've got the position of the light. So what I want to do is, in the first instance, I want to have the light sort of pointing down like so. Just have a look, wait for that to preview in. And so I'm going to set some keyframes for here. You can keyframe it moving left to right if you want, sort of an arc like that, like I did in this one. If we click the light, then you can see I've got it kind of coming around in an arc like so. You can do that if you want. Just for time's sake, what I'm going to do is, actually, you know what, yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to move it over here, point towards there like that. Okay, set a keyframe, which I've already hit the stopwatches. I'm going to come forward to 5 seconds. I'm then going to move my light over here, move it in a bit, and then I'm going to move this point of interest so it's pointing still at my text. Okay, and let's have a look when that preview's in. Move it up a bit, and let's get that point of interest down like so. Okay, so that's now set a keyframe there for this view. You may want to come in between and just check that it is pointing at the text through different sections. If it's not, then you may want to just, you know, alter this, but I think that's alright. Just check here that it's always pointing at the text, and so the text has always got a light shining on it. That's fine. Let's click by here just to check. I don't want it to be too dark at any point, and that's fine. So I've set all the keyframes that I want to for my light. You've got more light options here. You can change the type of light to parallel, point, ambient. You can change the cone angle, which makes it wider, if you so wish. You've got fall off. You can give it some fall off. Click smooth. and so I'll just make the sort of, you don't really want to do that because you have to change the intensity and stuff. I'm not going to do it in this instance, but have a play around. And cast shadows we want to be on, so you can have a play around with those light options. I'm just going to minimize that. And what I want to do in the first instance is come into 3D text, come into the material options, because there's no shadows at the moment. So we've got the light to cast shadows, but we also want the text to cast shadows, to turn that on. And there you go. Now we've got these, we can see the shadows there, and we can see some on the back wall. Also make sure the floor, in case it isn't working for you, if you're not seeing that, you want accepts shadows on for each of these solids, but mine came on by default, so hopefully yours will too. So yeah, you can see the shadow appearing on the back wall, but there you can see some darkness, but there I may turn the intensity of my light up just to see what difference that makes. So let's go 150 and let's see what happens then. Yeah, you can see it a bit better, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to chuck it up to 200. Okay, cool. Right, next thing, final thing I want to do, you can definitely see the shadows there. We can keyframe this intensity, so I'm going to have it on 100 by here. No, that's 10. So 100. Hit the stopwatch at the beginning to set a keyframe, and let's come forward and gradually get brighter. You know, why not? Yeah, anyway, last thing I want to do is animate a camera. Okay, so layer, new camera, and let's just go OK. So let's come to the beginning, and I want to go transform, point of interest, position is on, and I'll come into this view and just set up a nice sort of angled view, something like that. Okay, and I've got keyframes now set for that, so I want to come forward to where did I keyframe with this? Up to 5 seconds. So I want to come to 5 seconds, and I want to move my camera to a different position, maybe just over here. Let's bring it in a bit, and let's change my point of interest like so. Okay, and let's see, I want to bring that point of interest down a bit, so I can do that within here. So let's go to the Y and just drag that. Okay, so now just to check that the camera is focused on the 3D text throughout the whole shot, I'm just going to click through, let's click in the middle first, and let's see what view we have there. I want to bring this point of interest in this position, I want to bring it up a bit, or down a bit, whatever, and so that's better. Now let's have a look at how it looks at sort of this point. Let's see this, I just want to check that it's in the middle of the screen, and it is there, and let's check here. Excellent, that's kind of what I want. So what we've done is, you know, it hasn't taken us too long, we've animated a camera, we've animated a light, we've made some 3D text, and I'm going to pause it just as I play it, preview it back, because mine's going to take a while, but you know, we've done quite a bit in this session, so let me just pause it and we'll play through. Okay, so you join me back in After Effects now, where finally my animation has previewed in. So you can see we've got both a light and a camera animating, okay? So you could, with the background where there, it's a bit too dark to see actual shadows on, so you could just re-angle the light, change the, you know, you've got loads of light options in there, you can reposition it, redo the point of interest, alter the angle a bit, stuff like that. Okay, so I hope that you learned some stuff in this session and that you've got some stuff to take away. Remember, when you render it, before you render it, you'll want to go into your renderer by clicking up here, and you'll want to go options and increase this ray tracing quality. So, you know, just play around with that if you're not getting good results, and also this filter as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.